Today I want to talk to you about the process for obtaining a concealed carry permit in the state of Oklahoma. To start with, although there is a process involved, our state is in fact a shall issue state. In other words, if you can qualify for a permit and you've jumped through all the hoops, you will get your permit. Albeit it'll cost you some money, but you will get your permit. First step in getting a permit is you have to take a classroom and on-range safety course. Now, the classroom portion of the course basically deals with to teach you about the applicable law to self-defense, such as where you can and can't carry a weapon, when you can and can't resort to deadly force. It talks about Oklahoma's stand your ground laws and castle doctrine, and you're taught about the basic safety rules of handling firearms. And that portion of the class will end with a short written exam that basically makes sure you actually learn something. After which, you go to the live range portion, and you will be required to shoot about 50 to 100 rounds of ammunition, which may sound like a lot, but you can actually burn that pretty fast with most firearms. The purpose of the range is not a accuracy test, ironically. The main purpose is making sure you can safely load and unload your firearm. And if you can do that, you'll pass the test, you get your certification, and then you go to the next step. You take that certificate and you need to go get a passport-sized photo from, usually you can get those at the drugstore or whatever, but you have to get that, and you go to the sheriff's and you have to complete the application to the OSBI for your permit. And once you've done that, then you go to the local sheriff's office and you have to actually get fingerprinted. Now the sheriff will submit your photo, your certificate that you completed your class, and your application to the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, who does a pretty extensive background check on you to make sure that you don't have anything in your background that will disqualify you from having your permit. And that typically takes 2 to 3 months to complete, after which time you will be mailed a card in the mail that is your carry permit. Now, an interesting thing, Oklahoma still issues permits, but we are in fact a constitutional carry state. You don't need the permit to carry a weapon, but it's probably not a bad idea to have the permit, because if you want to travel outside of the state, not all states are a constitutional carry, but an awful lot of states will recognize an Oklahoma permit. The exceptions being pretty much all of the West Coast states and a fair number of the East Coast states plus Illinois. But a lot of the country will recognize an Oklahoma permit, so it's not a bad thing to have. Now, there is a fee involved. When you send in your application with all the other requisites through the sheriff, you have to pay about, it's $300 for a 5-year permit, and it's, last I checked, it's about $600-700 for a 10-year permit, and that will pretty much cover you for that time period. Now, there are some caveats with having a permit. If you are armed, whether you have your permit or not, you are required, if you encounter police, you have to tell them that you're armed, and you're supposed to tell them at the earliest possible opportunity. And there's the right way and a wrong way to do this. Obviously, you don't want to tell the police, hey, I have a gun, because they're probably going to show you theirs, and no one's going to like that. You do want to announce, though, officer, I'm a concealed carry permit holder, and I'm armed tonight, and my firearm is here. Is a good way to handle that. In future videos, I'm going to talk a little bit more about some other nuances of going armed in Oklahoma, but that's the basic process for getting started. If you have any questions about that, you should go to makelawEasy.com.